we go. I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you for joining me once again on another conscious evolution. Today's stream topic is about the human ability to adapt to change. Like, we're really good at adapting to change as human beings. And not only do I think it is an innate skill, but I also think of it as a trained skill, right? Where we have like studies proving that children that grow up in very noisy environments end up being a little bit more capable of dealing with adversity, dealing with high stakes environments, dealing with experiences that will be a little bit overwhelming to the average individual. And I honestly believe that because of that, it is possible for us to get better at adapting to change. Today's whole stream topic was kind of inspired by this experience of realizing that the plans I had is falling apart a little bit because of changes happening around me. And just noticing how, as these changes come and as I vocalize and I am transparent and open to these changes, the world changes alongside it, right? So like I'm thinking about like multi layers of like, one, you can adapt to the change happening in the world. Two, you can change. You as a person can change to adapt to the changing world. And then three, the world will change to you changing to the change, right? And I think of this from a perspective of like long-term future proofing ourselves as well. And as we head into the future, change isn't going to slow down, unfortunately, right? It's only going to speed up. And the things that we're going to experience when it comes to this change is only going to be more and more ridiculous. And I feel like we are, if anything, very unequipped. Even though we have this ability to adapt to change, it's like I'm imagining like culture shock, right? Like it's one thing to from a certain space, you know, and like I had this experience moving to China to teach English, moving from South Africa to China and teaching in that environment, it was a shock to me. The way that things were done, the way the world worked, the way we were paying for our food, the efficiency of train systems. Like there was so much good, right? Like I didn't carry a wallet with me for my whole stay in China. All I needed was my cell phone. And everywhere I went, my paying process for my food was literally as simple as opening my camera on my WeChat app and then scanning a QR code and then typing in the number that the person told me my items cost, right? That was my payment process, and it happens instantaneously every single time. And that was like a culture shock in and of itself, right? Going from everywhere in my country, still to this day, we pay with credit cards, right? So you have to like swipey. You have to go to a till. They have to like cling, 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 cling each of your items, and then you have to, you know, type in your PIN, and then it has to like process, and then it has to like print a little receipt, and nah. That was what was normal for me. And then moving, just like that, I adapted to this new environment. But then there was also other things, right? Again, with like the efficiency of public transportation, it was so easy for me to get, you know, a car close to me, right? Like there was like an Uber kind of service, but directly in the WeChat app as well. It was so easy. It was so easy to rent bicycles because in the exact same way, the bicycles had these QR codes in them. So in the same way that I would pay for my food, I could pay for a bicycle. Literally 2 RMB. It would cost me 2 RMB, which is 4 Rand, which is $25 cents, maybe even less. 25 cents to have a bicycle while I need one. And then when I don't need one, I park my bicycle and then I clippity the QR code thing again. And then I'm done, right? Sometimes they even refund you your 25 cents, you know, depending on how long you were using the bicycle for. So convenient. Trains, exact same thing, right? I go into the metro, and instead of having to like go to a machine or go to a like a till or go to a window, I can just use my phone. I scan a QR code at the little, like entryway, and it opens up for me and it bills me right there. And I get on the train. And then when I get off, I scan a QR code again, and then it bills me for the distance that I traveled. So convenient. All right. And like that stuff was in and of itself shocking to me, having absolutely no infrastructure here in South Africa. And now to think of that in extremes, right? Where if it is shocking for me as a South African to go from living in somewhat of a third world country to somewhat of a first world country, at least when it comes to the infrastructure and the availability of these things, how much more shocking is it going to be 20 years from now when the world has transcended this level of even need, right? Like I'm thinking about it from a perspective of how much of the world is going to change due to the AI, due to the quantum, due to the biological manipulation, due to the internet in and of itself, right? The internet is still technically a pretty new phenomenon. The internet feels like it's such an integral part of our lives right now, right? And yet it's pretty recent, and we adapted to that change, really well. But I don't think we're ready just yet, or at least not conceptually, for the amount of change that's going to bring into the world, right? Because surely the internet has changed us. Surely the internet has changed the world. Surely we changed ourselves to adapt to the change of the world, changing of the internet. But then that third step of how is the world going to change as we change to adapt to those changes, right? Like I think of it like an accelerationist kind of perspective where it's like dominoes, As soon as the domino drops where we're willing to change ourselves to adapt to this new world, it's almost like a health signal that this change is accepted and okay and expected. And then it has even more momentum to continue doing so. So how do we cope? Get good, learn how to embrace change, I guess, is the best answer I could give. It's nice having you friends here. Shan says, my apologies for bringing up food. No, but adaptogen food slash herbs also help us adapt to change. How about that? I wonder, Shan, uh, I wonder if there will be. So I'm imagining now again, far future, right? I can agree and understand that certain herbs and certain foods will help us adapt to change, especially so when it comes to our. Pippi looks like someone put water on her. Sorry. Especially so when it comes to like the whole fractal of like going to China. As soon as I was in China, I had access to foods I never had access to living in South Africa. And eating these foods in some way made me feel a little bit more familiar with this space as well. It was like literally putting the outside world into me in the form of food to, as you mentioned, adapt to that change. And now I'm thinking about it from the perspective of like far future, where we have the ability to manipulate our food forms, like down to the genetic level when we grow them, and how that level of change is going to allow us to change as well. How much will we change when our food isn't the same food that we've been eating our entire existence, And it's not something that I'm thinking is a bad thing necessarily, right? I'm not particularly negative about it. In fact, I'm kind of hopeful. I'm just curious what's going to happen. Yeah, somebody did put water on Pippi. And you see her fur looking all matted kind of vibe. Being a little cutie. That good. Hope so. The chat box looks like one of those towns in the Old West when the villain of the week strolls in. Super empty. It's true, right? Everybody's hiding in their little houses, looking through their little windows, moms holding their children to their chest in the corner of the house, holding their mouth shut. Nobody say anything. I'm adaptable and I change, and so are all of you. I'll change, your change. Bless you. I see Joy. Duck Dad, of course. Love to you. Lovazana here too. It looks like Meltis strangling a small woodland creature with that mic. Yeah. Caught a mouse and is now holding it. Using the little mouse's ears. You know, I'm holding it in exact the right way so that it outputs a certain frequency, so that that frequency gets picked up by a receiver, so that you can hear my voice over the in the background. I hope that there is some sort of algorithm nonsense happening in the background where it prioritizes my voice over any other sounds. It's nice to have you friends here again, right? Even if it's a little bit empty, Sam, maybe that's a change that I would have to be able to adapt to as well, right? How am I going to react if I come into stream one day and I talked about it like 2 days ago and there's just nobody here? Just nobody shows up. Nobody says a single word. I'm just gonna have to keep riffing. I'm gonna have to keep thinking about more stuff. How about this change we're having? And then I take out my book of things worth saying so I can give myself new mental juju to channel, and then I go, let's see if there's something worth saying. And then I say, fear. I love this one. I keep coming back to this one. I feel like this might be the one that has been read more than anything else, but I'll read it again. Fear arises from the thought that I am alone, separated from my creator. Yet, in reality, it is the creator perceiving the creator and creating the perception that God is separate from God. Right? You looking at yourself, convincing yourself that you are separate from the self that you are looking at. Each particle of God holds the potential of the whole. Each particle of the universe holds the potential of the whole. Information doesn't get destroyed, it can only be transformed. I understand genetically modified foods, but my feelings are as it's a little bit of an insult to Mama Gaia. Like she can do good food. No, I don't think so. I mean, again, the way I think of it, Shan, is like it's technology, right? Hey, Google, define technology. Let's see the exact definition so I can like frame my thought. The application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. So let's take it like word by word. The application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes. So at least in my mind, I believe some of the scientific knowledge that we have come to is the ability to build things, right? Even though Mama Gaia has provided to us caves, in mountainsides that would function as homes if we, chose to live in them, due to our scientific understanding of, being able to take aggregate, and form it into shapes and then stack those shapes on top of each other to build, a home. That is like our application of scientific knowledge. Even though Mama Gaia have given us perfectly good homes in the form of caves or whatever, holes in the ground, we still use our technology to build more, right? And I feel that is the point of genetic modification as well. Like again, genetic modification technically uses Mama Gaia as a dancing partner. I believe at least, Shan, where there would be nothing to genetically modify if Mama Gaia haven't given us all of this information, right? It's like using using a canvas and paint, to paint a beautiful picture. You're not insulting Mama Gaia by saying, all that she has created isn't beautiful enough, so I'm gonna try my own. It's a form of expression, and I feel the food we eat has become a much bigger and more complicated thing than we realize, right? For the longest time, our adaptation to our changing environment was pretty small scale. Like we weren't 8 billion people on the planet at the same time for the longest time. It's only now that we have this amount of need. And if we can use technology to make sure our crops are more drought resistant, that's not a spit in Mama Gaia's face. That is using the genetics Mama Gaia have given us and then building it up so that it actually has the properties that she could have intended, right? Maybe she did intend, but due to the amount of fluctuation and variation, due to the amount of change, it's impossible for it to get to that point, right? So we have to take a step into that change. We have to adapt to that change by almost becoming instigators of it. That is kind of the point I'm trying to make of today's stream topic, that you, literally you, have the ability to change the world, you know, and food is going to be one of those. Art is one of those. Is one of those. You know, like you can change the world in so many ways. You can choose to. You can use technology to change the world in many different ways. And it's a matter of getting good. And I feel like maybe in part as well, inducing the change you want to see, being the change, right? You want to see. Getting a 777, the only constant is change. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Brother Gary, for blessing me with some abundance, man. That's so nice of you. Love is true. I bless you. I thank you for joining us, bro. What do you think about this topic? What do you think about gene modding our food, you know, when it comes to this change? And the reason we got to this point, Gary, is because we were talking about gene modded food. And then I'm thinking about the way that our bodies are going to change when we start eating gene modded food, right? Like how are we going to adapt to that change? And how upon adapting to that change, are other things going to change, like on a psychological, on an emotional, on a spiritual level, you know, like, and for me, I'm a glutton for change. And one of the things that I would like to see happen is genetically modifying blueberries to the point where they become the size of apples, right? I don't know if that's sacrilegious, and I don't think there's anything wrong with blueberries. I love blueberries that size, you know, like small little blueberries. I can put them in a freezer and I can eat them like little, you know, crunchy ices. But the idea of being able to hold the blueberry in my hand like an apple and then chewing into it, right? I don't know why, bro, but it brings joy to my mind to imagine it. The best part to me is the fact that this hasn't been happening, right? There was not a single sound in the environment up until the moment I sat down to stream. Change. Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm getting it. Sometimes I have to take a moment to like really take a step back, you know, to understand what the hell the universe is doing now. But this is just like literal change in the form of air molecules, right? Literally bouncing up against my ears. And I'm like, hey bro, how about get good at change? I say to you. And then the universe is like, how about I give you some change to get good at changing through? And I'm getting challenged, but I'm accepting. I accept the challenge. Can't take it away from me. Dude, it makes me so uncomfortable when I stream to no one, just me chatting at nothing. Old man yells at clouds. Yeah, it is. It makes me uncomfortable as well, Duck Dad, for what it's worth. Even when you friends aren't as active in chat as you usually are, it makes me uncomfortable, right? So I do get it. I do get it. But again, I need to be adaptable enough to change to be able to do that as well, you know, if it has to come to that. There are dessert leftovers in the fridge. I am control. I do not need pie at 8 in the morning. Who did you talk to when you first started streaming? Here? I said bless you to my dad because he sneezed, but I don't know if you were here to hear that. Did I talk to someone? I don't think so. I went straight into my Indeed ingredients, I believe, at least. Mm, 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 mm. Maybe you're talking about Duck Dad. I'm so confused. I have a super wonderful Thanksgiving joy. I had, I'm guessing, probably the best one ever. I hope you had a great day as well. Blessed. That sounds nice. Shan, I'm happy to hear that. I spent over 8 hours on my feet cooking and cleaning, but it was worth it. The food was amazing and very much enjoyed. Did you have people over? I had a person over. I don't generally like having people over. I find it very stressful. I'm happy that you had at least a person over. I hope it was a beautiful time. You got to have some fun, Joy. Oh boy, I left my grow shed open last night. It's -5. I'm going to be fighting every critter within 5 miles to get it. I'm just seeing, like this anime-esque, over exaggerated duck dad fighting raccoons and squirrels and ducks and, rats just like freaking, and they're like attacking him and he's like throwing them off his body. Oh, the Family Guy scene where they turn on the black light and there's a moose sitting there. I don't know that one, unfortunately. Joy, good for you for hosting and cooking. Bless. Gary Lee is like a ninja, tunes in, blesses us with love, and tunes back out. I did have extra guests outside though. Sam, Possum Phil had been around a lot lately, and there's multiple families of raccoons that have been trooping through and terrorizing the outside cat food. Love it's to you too, dear Kristen. It's nice having you. They will never move on from outside the cat food. Fun fact can come in. Oh, Joy, that makes me so happy. Even though you put so much work and time into cooking and cleaning, it was it was worth it. I'm sure everyone was so appreciative and felt the love that you put into it all. So much bless. I don't believe GMO food is necessarily bad in and of itself. It's just what happens after the food is genetically modified that is bad. So I feel I agree at like base level with your last sentence, but I feel again the character limit asks you to say something very complex in only a few words. So if you will allow me, I would like to elaborate. One of the things that I'm not actually okay with is something called glyphosate. Right? Some of your friends will know what that is. It's basically a pesticide, and we gene mod certain species of plants to be resistant to glyphosate, right? So it kills everything except for your plant because it was genetically modified in order to be resistant to that, right? And I feel like that is like stupid GMO, right? I feel like this weight of scientists and farmers being like, "You're calling us stupid." No, please listen. I can explain. I can explain. Please give me a second. Right? Stupid because it's like trying to get at. It's like misunderstanding, at least in my mind, right? It's like there is all of this complexity that you can gene mod, right? Like you can literally, technically, if we actually knew exactly which pathways to modify, you can genetically modify plants so that they can grow in environments a little bit better, so they'll be more resistant to insects, etc., right? Like you can modify the plant itself to have the ability to be okay, without all of the extra additives. But right now, we're gene modding these plants, sometimes even to produce their own, I believe. Maybe. I don't actually understand that too well. But we are modding our plants so that they can be okay with all of, as brother, Gary Lee said, with all of the other stuff we do afterwards, and I feel like that's like adding layers, right? When the point, at least in my mind, of genetic modification is taking away layers, right? Like making it easier for ourselves to actually harvest the things and produce food abundantly. There he is, literally says it, i.e. glyphosate being able to be sprayed on GMO foods and then gets transferred to us. Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, it's so trippy that we went into that same fractal. That is the thing that concerns me as well. But again, I believe that's like stupid GMOing, right? Like we're going to get much smarter, or at least our computers are getting much smarter, and we can understand the implications and the complexity of our gene modding a little bit better than we were able to. but it is going to be a process. The change is not going to happen all at once. It's going to happen slowly but surely. Very so lucky. I can reach out and give my doggo some petters. I love her. Did you know that 98 of raccoons would die within the first year of humans disappearing from the earth? They are so dependent on human food sources that they will starve. They can get to be 60 pounds. Yossi, that's a biggin. I didn't know they get that heavy. I thought they would like reach a max of like 20 kilograms, like 40 pounds. I thought it would be the max. I didn't know that. 98%. That's a big number. Is that Papa Melt noise or some kind of animal? Yeah. It's my dad. I don't know why. And I don't say anything anymore for what it's worth, right? Because I'm unironically seeing it as getting baited, right? That I'm getting baited into being reactionatory due to the noises. And I have considered myself as of late too strong to be baited by anything. I'm like, oh y'all trying to bait me? I'm just gonna pretend it didn't happen. I'm just going to and then move on with my life like it didn't happen. I am more powerful than the sounds. I am more powerful than the external world. I get to choose what I bring into it. Sounds like someone is sawing metal by hand. No, unfortunately not. Wild blueberries are incredible adaptogen food. I will defend them till I die, but that's just me. We don't have to go without one or the other. I feel like I want to make that very clear as well, right? Gene modding our food doesn't mean we won't have access to the organics, right? Even though I don't believe there is such a thing, right? Even gene modded food is still going to be organic, right? Because it's going to eat sunlight, it's going to sequester carbon, it's going to use water, right? Like it's not going to have some sort of factory pump, chemical 553577, into the plant root system, and then that plant is going to start producing berries. No, I don't think that's how it's going to work. It's still going to be natural for the large part. It's just going to be the organism, right? And it's the same thing with weed, right? So you can think of it like from a weed perspective. The weed that people were smoking in 1970, if we had to have the exact same weed, we would not be having a good time, right? Especially with what we've gotten used to. And in that same way, our weed has been genetically modified, has been tailor bred generation after generation after generation by people who seek out the best quality, right? And you can still smoke organic weed, but because of the genetics being modified, genetically modified genetics, the weed you'll get from the sun, from the same water, from the same carbon being sequestered is going to be exponentially better than the weed you would have gotten if you were just smoking some natural, field weed that has been populating itself, over generations. That is how it's going to be, 100%. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing with our food. It's already technically the same thing with our food as well. I just think it's going to accelerate, right? The change is going to happen faster than ever. I meant when you first started streaming career, who were you talking to streaming to? Was anyone there? Actually, weirdly enough, Joy Vive, I am very blessed in that way where I have never done a stream without people joining me, right? Like, fortunately, Arpan was like a saving grace. Yauskiba, Schlepskaba, Sklaubiao. Yeah, I agree, dude. Yeah, bro. Like, I'm so blessed. So blessed, Joy Vive. Arpan was like, I don't know. It feels almost like dreamlike thinking about Arpan these days. Like, if it wasn't for Arpan, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So I started doing Arpan in like November, before November, in November of the year 2020. And literally, since the very first stream I did, people were joining me, right? Before I even were showing my face, I just showed myself rolling a joint, I remember. People were joining me. And then I walked outside with that joint and I had you friends set up and I was smoking my joint. We were having conversations. And it felt so natural and so welcoming. I felt home. I straight up felt home. And then I was like, yeah, this is nice. And I did it a few more times during December. And then I came to a conclusion that this is what I want to be doing, right? I feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing. So I showed up and I started doing it every day. And you friends have been joining me ever since. I've never had a day of you friends not being willing to join. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for being here right now, for choosing to show up, spending this time with me. What's an adaptogen? Hey Google, define adaptogen. An adaptogen or adaptogenetic adaptogenetic adaptogenic substances are used in herbal medicine for the purported, I've never read that word, but that's what it says, purported stabilization of physiological processes and the promotion of homeostasis. It allows you to reach a state of balance. And in the middle of this picture, I feel Shan is going to be so stoked, is blueberries, some aloe vera, there's some roots, there's some ginger and herbs, there's some stickies and mushrooms. Adaptogenic. Thank you, Shan, for helping us consciously evolve and learn even more things. We're all gonna get cancer. I'll be like spin the wheel and see which one we're gonna get. I don't agree with that, Joy Vive. We already have cancer. Checkmate. All of us have cancer. You might even have cancer right now. Your body kills cancer daily, every single day. The only reason cancer becomes a problem is when your body stops knowing how to kill that cancer. But guess what, Joy Vive? We already have the technology to teach your body how to kill the cancer more efficiently. So, no, none of us will get cancer. This I decree, and so it shall be. Oh, Melt, oh, you can't just. Hey, I'm not asking. This is not up for discussion. Nobody's getting cancer. Everybody's gonna stay healthy. So it shall be. I manifest. Adaptogens are herbs and foods that help our bodies manage stress and anxiety. They balance us and help us adapt to change. Bless. Thank you so much, Shan, for sharing this wisdom with us. I worked for Round Up for 4 years, so my glyphosate runs through my veins, unfortunately. On the downside, I'll surely get cancer. On the plus side, I'll sue those bastards to give money to Duckling. Bruh. Cancer can be fought. Don't worry about it, friends. Change is coming. Right? How are we going to change? Like, that's maybe something to go into a little bit. How are we going to change as a species when we solve cancer? When we literally start stagnating aging, right? I honestly, I know some of you friends are doubtful, but I'm more than willing to be wrong. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that is a change that's coming, right? The obsolescence of death, literally making death obsolete, seeing death as something to be stopped, right? Seeing death as literally the victory of entropy. And actively, everything we do as human beings, our ability to adapt to change, is our ability to fight entropy, literally. So, why not extend that into our medicine, into our idea of death as well? And how will you change? Right? How will you change to that change? And how will the world change to you having changed to the change? Right? Ceaselessly noticing this iterative process that we're participating within. For years, Johnson & Johnson had cancer-causing ingredients in their baby powder, and they did less than nothing about it. This is actually true. Oh, neat. You can have my blueberries. I'm just not that fond of them. Oh, Joy Vive, you wouldn't even have to tell me I can have your blueberries. You would have blueberries in the fridge, and then suddenly they're gone. And you're like, what happened to the blueberries? And I'm like, I have no idea. Yos kebab, love to you again, Gab. Drive by infinite bless. Have a lovely day slash eve, everyone. Melty, thank you for all that you do to brighten this existence. Hugs and shiny fruit to you too. Brother Joshmo, thank you for what you do, bro. There's a big difference between regular blueberries and wild blueberries. Wild blueberries are far better than regular cultivated blueberries, and I think they taste way better. I don't think I've had wild blueberries in that case. Probably not, actually. God, getting ready for leg day. Yeah, those keep leg day, bro. I sent you a video of a guy that plays chess with the laser pointer. Why? Where did the chess come from? I sent you a video of a guy that. Oh, that plays Chase, the laser pointer of an alligator in the swamp. I saw that video too. It was a small alligator though. It was kind of trippy to see. Where did you share it? I must see this. It's kind of funny, Kristen. You should. Some hotties on the stream. Oh, here you are. You're the hottie. Yeah, yeah. Get complimented. Doc Dad, I'm doing 5 sets of 5 reps this week, which means more weight, which makes me feel more strong. Yeah, it's true. Challenge yourself, but don't overdo it, bro. Kristen, I message him. I'll put it in Discord General. Please do. I'm sorry. I'm coming off kind of girl like. I'm just very, very passionate about this. Not of all, actually, Shan. All I'm seeing is passion. No girl. I understand. All right. But it is something we're going to have to adapt to. That's kind of the point I'm making as well, Shan. Is like there's a layer of, I don't want to call it nihilism. Acceptance. Acceptance sounds better than nihilism. Hey Google, define nihilism. Nihilism, the rejection of all religious and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. No, it's definitely not nihilism. Defeatism, like acceptance. Again, I think acceptance is the better word, right? Like a part of me is trying to like steer us towards this understanding of acceptance, because I don't think we'll have a choice. Not really, not technically, because again, unfortunately, we find ourselves uh, enslaved to, subservient to a profit motive, right? So as long as there is a profit motive, that means our food is going to be adapted, right? And if you look at the amount our food has adapted in the last 80 years alone, it is clear that you won't get to choose, right? Like you cannot buy yourself bananas as they were, with big ass seeds in them from the grocery store. They still exist, technically speaking. They're still available on our planet, but you don't have access to them. You can't buy them. The only bananas you can buy are the genetically modified variety of them, right? Because there's more food. There's more food to eat in those bananas than there were in the old bananas. And that's kind of where our world is heading. So, year by year, decade by decade, the food in our grocery stores are going to adapt, change alongside us. And we as human beings have this divine ability to adapt to any change. So, yeah, asking ourselves what that adaptation looks like, right? Before we have to come to that change. I'm happy to hear your passion, Shan. Me too. I took a gram of mushrooms and went to sleep last night. I feel calmer this morning. I don't know how you do that, bro. Like, I would not be able to. I cannot take mushrooms and sleep. Like, my mind goes into a new state of being. I did try it once where I did like half a gram of mushrooms and then went to sleep. And I woke up feeling like a different person. Not in a good way, unfortunately. It wasn't bad. Like, oh, I've lost myself. But it was like, the fuck is happening? Am I still dreaming? Is this reality? It was kind of like that. I'm happy that you're feeling better, bro. Shan, what varieties of blueberries should I be growing? Yeah, Swampy would be rich if he made a YouTube video of him playing laser pointer with Swamp Life. All I know, Duck, is wild blueberries is king. There we go. I bought myself a new robe to celebrate my weight loss. It's floor length, fluffy, soft, and chartreuse chartreuse green. Nice. I'm happy for you as well. I want to get myself a new robe. I had two robes when I was in China, but it takes up so much room. Like I also had like down to the floor length robes, and they were so nice. I would live in those robes unashamedly. But then when I came back to South Africa, I bought myself a monitor, a screen, because they were super cheap in China, and I had to put it in my luggage, my clothing bag, to fly it back. So I had to like make sacrifices, and one of the things that got sacrificed is my robes because they were just too volume, right? Like a robe would like take up this much space, and I had only like this much space total, so they had to stay. I need to give myself one as well. I love new robe time, Joy. Are you gonna post a pic? I was also hoping for a pic, but it might be too personal. Apparently, this summer, oh, okay, let me go again. Apparently, this summer my mom was pregnant with me. She spent a lot of time picking wild blueberries and she ate about as many as she picked. So I'm figured I'm at least 20% wild blueberry. That's so wholesome, actually. I didn't even dream. Is my brain broken? No, I also don't dream of the mushroom experience, right? And you probably did dream, but it's probably like this is the way I'm interpreting it. Like the information that your brain was processing, like the exact neuronal makeup that your brain was going through during that space, is too far separated from your normal base level of consciousness, right? So it's not that you don't remember; it's that you are unable to. Right. The same thing happens with like a dream in general, right? Sometimes dreams can be so odd and like visceral and like out there that by the time you wake up you're almost in the space of like what happened again, what was happening, right? Now add mushrooms onto that experience and the what's happening is even more the fuck's happening, right? So it's impossible for you to retain that information. No, Sam, I'm shy. And you see, I must know. I saw an amazing green bathrobe at Target a couple of weeks ago that I could live in. So much love it. I don't even get a robe on the bed. Big joy. Yes, damn. I want to be a robe guy. I've tried so hard, but it's too much sensory overload. Like the material on your skin all over or something. I'm not sure. You may not have tried the right fabric yet, Doc. Yes, probably true. Maybe something in the style of a smoking jacket would suit you. Okay. You know what? I have reached a point of saturation where I now feel like I need to partake of drugs. I need to start smoking marijuanas just to cope with reality. Rope gang, joy deserving to treat yourself. Proud of you and glad you're feeling fine and fresh. So much lovin's. It's so nice being able to join you friends. Spend a moment together. Be calm. What's my intention? Calm. No, adapt to change. I want to be really good, like really good at adapting to change. I want I want the earth to be able to turn purple. I want all green leaves to suddenly be purple and to be like, this is fine. I wanna be able to be that good at adapting to change. I got it from Amazon. I'll post a link that could work as well. We can see photos too. Might even be, matchy matchy with the robes. Just all that looseness. I don't like anything that moves. It's why I wear my tough buy shirts. I don't know what that means. But it's interesting that that's the thing that gets you, bro, the looseness. I actually enjoy the looseness. That's why I wear these pants as well, right? Like, I can wear jeans, and technically I look good in them, but like, I reach a point of saturation where, like, in the same way, the sensory experience of having something pushed up against my skin the whole day, all day, reaches a point of like, okay, I've had enough. And like the bathrobe is like not as, sticking to your body, but all over. So for the same reason you might dislike that, I do like it. It's interesting how these sensory sensitivities, show up in multiple different ways. Sam, do I look like Hugh Hefner? No, I don't think so. Do I know what Hugh Hefner looks like? Hey Google, Show me a picture of Hugh Hefner. Uh, I mean, if you shaved your beard and you got super skinny and you aged 40 years, maybe you would look like Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner is the Playboy guy, right? I think so, at least. Tough guy shirts. It makes a little bit more sense. The real question is, what do you want? Yeah, that's true. What are you willing to adapt to, Duck Dad, to pose it in a different way? I'm so glad to hear other people talking about sensory issues with clothing, touching. I thought I was a weirdo for that. Absolutely not, Kristen. Right? And it's a part of me feels a little bit conflicted right now talking about this dream topic because I do want to make suits eventually, right? And the principle, the precipice, the application of these suits would be skin tight, purposefully, because it would, serve as a means of energy exchange. That the suit is technically supposed to keep you cool as well, and the only way to keep cold is to have something that makes contact with your skin, trying to heat sink that heat away. That's a smoking jacket melt, what Hugh Hefner is probably wearing, aside from the woman. Yeah, it's true. No, 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 no. This is what looks like now. At this point, I'd say it's more normal than not, Kristen. Most fabrics are fine for me, but styrofoam is the texture of the devil. My son cannot wear jeans, and my father-in-law couldn't either. They both also have had serious sensory issues with food. So interesting. Hey, Zano. We're talking about adapting to change today. So with that in mind, I'll start adapting. Love is true. Love is true. It's what we're here to do. Make sure that love is true. Let me adapt to change of a mindset of true loving. Not hot enough. Still tasty. I was gonna do it. I don't have socks with toe seams in this house. What's toe seams? Like it has one layer of sock and then it's stitched together and then it has another layer of sock, or like different materials or different colors or whatever. Food sensory issues in this house is why I don't eat fun food. It's my adaptive change from my family. Fun food? You friends are using words that confuse me today. Fun food, tough buy shirts. Huh? What is fun food? Like, is it cheap junk food? Is that fun? I used to build shapes with cheese puffs. If you lick one side of the cheese puff and you lick the other side of a cheese puff, you can like stick them together and they'll stay. Cursed? I'm sorry. That's the closest to fun food that I can imagine. Fun food. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a super bad fingernail sensitivity all my life. If I cut them and touch something soft, it's the worst feeling. I cut my fingernails today again, actually. Fingernails. It's the same stuff as hair? That fingernails are basically hairs stacked on top of each other, multiple times thick, and then it like slowly distributes all of that hair or prints it out slowly but surely. I find that pretty weird. Being a human being, having to cut my nails and brush my hair, clean my teeth, scrub my body. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joy Vive. I know it makes you cringe. That's why I said it. What the hell, yo? So much change. watching this body slowly change despite me trying to take care of it as best as I can. Maybe that is the point. Adapting to change, right? Literally being put in a body where you cannot help it. Some big box stores, at least in the kids section, have a few. Be ready to pay Daras. Sam. Oh. Where does one get seamless toe socks? They're more expensive, it seems. I'm adapting much, much better, being wheat free for almost a week now. And Mara says she likes me better this way. Bless. The fact that you had like a good, the best, as you mentioned, Thanksgiving as well. Yeah, it's a lot. I can imagine, like especially enjoying something and then being told by others that they appreciate you more without you enjoying this thing. I feel like maybe there is still room, like with mindful use. I believe like the way I want to transition is to like mindfully use only like once a week or something, like as a real treat on a Sunday, meditate, smoking some weed or something. I can imagine that being like the way I would like to do it going forward. But I'm proud of you, Shan. Shan has been weed free, for a while now, and hearing stuff like this makes me so happy. Mm. I mean, fun food for me. Like anything interesting. My wife and daughter both eat like 5-year-olds. I ain't no curry or anything interesting for me unless I go out. Ah, okay. Anything interesting. What is interesting food? Like different? Like something you don't eat regularly every day? So proud of you for really reals. You're so strong. So much love. Zano, that is so interesting. I almost feel the opposite. Long nails and nail polish both feel like barriers to the sensation of touch. How about that? I have to keep my fingernails short. If I let them get long, they start to hurt, and I can't explain it. It's like they're heavy and it hurts. I hear you, Jevi. I like short fingernails personally. She's doing good, Joy. She's so much happier and listens much better. She's been practicing her trombone skills for her band concert coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm one proud mama. Thank you for asking. Thank you for letting us know that she's doing well and you're being proud of her, dear Shan. Yeah, nail polish is fine. It's more like the skin under the nail if I don't cut them for a while. Then I cut them, the skin that is exposed is mad. I get you. I'm falling in love with sober Shan, and it seems Amara, my family, is too. And I'm grateful for this experience and the results. Change. Huh, Shan? Like, I feel like it's so beautiful that we're talking about that, and Shan, making public, I guess, her journey as well. How she has been embracing change, right? The change of no longer smoking weed or vaping weed or ingesting marijuana, no more THC, and how that changes the way you feel day to day, changes the way you interpret this world, and then in turn, again, that changes you, and then that change in you changes the way the world sees you, your family, your loved ones. And then that change of how the world sees you changes you again, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm going to embrace this change of no longer smoking weed. And then you do that. And then you change, right? It might be for the worse, might be for the better. Sometimes you feel a little bit groggy, at least at first. And then the world is like, oh, wow, how about this change? And then that extra layer of like the world going, oh, wow, maybe can cause some insecurities, maybe can cause some wisdom, maybe can cause some growth, some evolution in the self, and then that changes you, right? It's this give and take, but the only way to experience some of this change is sometimes to stand up for it. Mm, 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 mm. When I was a small child, it was a huge struggle to get me to cut my nails and toenails. When my parents would succeed, I would have to sleep with my toes out and my hands above the covers. You slept hard enough that people could cut your nails? I don't even know if that would be even remotely possible. I wake up if somebody touches my door while I'm sleeping. If somebody opens the door, I'm sitting upright. If somebody touches my hand, I'm throwing hands. I'm fighting, right? I don't know if it would be possible for me. Did my messages not go through? I put pics in Discord, in general in Discord. Keep my fingernails short. How's Amara? Post a link in pics in Discord. You want me to share? You did mention that you were shy, so I thought it was just for us. Let's see. Oh wow, that's really nice. Here is the robe Joy B was telling us about. Doesn't that look great? Yeah, that looks really comfortable actually. So proud of you indeed. Love is true. I am capable of adapting to any change. Thank you, dear water, for helping me. Got a little flower in my water. Oh, I dropped it. Oopsie doopsie. I am stronger still. Wish I had the power to turn water into wine. Right about that. Okay. La, 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 la. I will also publicly share that I also quit taking Adderall going on 7 weeks ago after 10 years. So I'm the soberest I've been since I was a child. Again, I'm incredibly grateful for this experience. True. I wanted you to be the one who tells us as well. Thank you for letting us know that, Shan. No more Adderall and no more weed, as she says, after like 10 years of taking a substance every single day of her life and then ceasing to. And how reality is the same reality you've had this whole time. And yet, because of that change, right, that happens on the inside with you no longer taking a substance, the outer world changes and that outer world becomes more lovable. You can be more present with that change as it's happening in front of you. What a process. I look forward to you being able to, share your anecdotes even more. I also had a huge phobia to green plant foam. Sometimes it's called oasis. I know exactly what you're talking about. I like pushing my fingers into that green plant foam, which destroys it every single time. Hey, I see Jules here, sending you love and Gateway. It's nice having you. Like I can't be around it without feeling sick that bad. So I'm guessing you never tried putting your fingers in it. Maybe that makes you cringe just thinking about. I'm sorry. A robe with a hood. They're so awesome. Enjoy the heck out of that. So much love. I looked away from the screen so I can still have mystery at Joy's appearance. No, it wasn't Joy. It was just a photo of the robe. Melt, is your dad mad at you again? I don't know. I haven't done anything enraging. At least I don't think so. Hi, Gatlin. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like the Gatlin. Just so you know, Gabrigo. Love is true, right? No, just breathe, Mel. It'll be okay. Yeah, I braved. Here I am. Still okay. Oh, life is fine, right? Love is true. As long as I can remain here and I don't react, then I haven't reacted. And love remains right where it is. Is this passive aggressive weed eating? Passive aggressive weed eating? Smoking? I just did smoke a little bit of marijuana, but I don't have any more here because Johan and Christian is coming. I would think they would be here. Whoops, now I know. Now you do, brother bear. Bless you, man. I see her with her little closing her eyes. Was I embarrassing you? I'm sorry. I remember you saying to me that you don't actually like the name Gatelin. So yeah, love is true. Sending you blessings, Jules. Shh, no. It's so gross. Did I miss a few? Sorry. Let me skip up a bit. Your chill is inspiring. Love to you. Thank you. Tristan. What are they making, Melt? Surely all that grinding and pounding must be in service to something awesome. Papa? Wat maak pa? He's making a trailer for cattle. That's what's happening right now. No, it's so gross. Oh, about the. I'm sorry. I won't say it again. What are we talking about again, Zano? Guess I can't remember. I got a new car, a new phone, and a haircut this week. Hot diggity damn. Gateway, you didn't tell me you were ballin'. Now suddenly I'm so interested. Love to you. I'm happy. I hope your car serves you well. I hope you don't have to buy a new phone in like 6 years, and that the haircut makes you feel super beautiful. Sending you blessings. Gateway leveling up. Yeah. Hopefully all of these things serve her well for as long as they possibly can. It is about time for us to pull a card. Let me just call the homies, see how far they are. Like if they're like 20 minutes away or something, I'll keep the stream on. Who do I call? Do I call Johan or Christian? Johan is probably the one driving, so I'll call Christian. Let's see if he answers. Brr, brr. Brr, brr. Brr, 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 brr. Brr, 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 brr. Scatter. Scatter. My name is Scanny. Scanny man. Answer your cell phone. Pick up your cellular device. I beggeth of you. Gonna have to call you on. Oh,
Chris speaking. Who this?
hey, Christian. This is, auto insurance. We're calling about your extended warranty.
Not interested. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Hey, Christian. From the audio of it, you guys haven't left yet?
No, we're still packing, bro.
Uh-huh. Okay, good to know.
We're gonna be there a little bit late, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still
Probably
packing,
like 9ish.
sounds about right. Yeah, like Johan did tell me,
You
like,
want anything from like McDonald's?
oh, I wasn't really thinking about that necessarily. I just want you homes to get here safe. And I'm like streaming right now. So I was like thinking, am I gonna continue streaming until you homies are like in the back of the frame. But if you haven't left yet, that means it's 2.5 hours from now. So
We're like an hour away from you.
you're already driving?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
see,
for a while now.
I'm getting fucking bamboozled here. We have people swooning over hearing your voice in chat right now, so looking forward to
Oh,
having.
stop it.
Yeah, oh, get
Stop it.
flattered.
Sweetheart. Okay.
Oh,
Come on. We are on our way soon.
okay, sweet, sweet. You still know where to go. You have the location and everything.
Yeah, dude. We know it at muscle memory at this point.
Yeah, it's once you've driven it a few times, you know where it is. Okay, I look forward to seeing you, hosts. Drive safe. We'll be here.
Okay.
You'll be here
Okay,
soon
bye
then.
now.
Cheers,
Alright,
cheers.
bye now. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
What an asshole. I'm gonna have to kick his ass when he gets here. Oh, love is true. Come on, load me my chats. I thought she also didn't like being called Jules. You always call Gateway Jules. I don't know if I'm allowed to dox you like this, but her name is Julia. And I think she has mentioned to me that Jules is not something that she minds, right? Because it's literally calling her gemstones, right? Jewels, beautiful, pieces of earth. So I think of it as a compliment at the very least. Every single time. The intention behind me saying that is like a compliment. Gooby Goob there and Gateway. Love is true. Your dad knows how to make stuff like cow trailers. Neat. How can you make cow trailers do? Sure I can. Sure. All you have to buy is materials. It's very easy making things. It's not very cheap making things though, right? Like if you have the tools, if you have grinders and you have a welder, it's very easy to make things out of steel. Like really easy. It's not a rocket science. But it is, a material intensive thing. And you have to build things that you're actually going to use. Otherwise, what's the point? No, I love Jules. There we go. Just most people don't know my name. Well, I'm sorry. Love is true. Gateway Process is beautiful name too. Chobo, you were in my dream. How about that? Was I being cool? Slash swoon. Get Melt McDonald's so we can hear him complain about how bad his body hates him. Yeah. Like, weirdly enough, I've gained a lot of weight. Like, a lot of weight. I don't feel very confident in my own personal physique at this point. Yet, I feel very matter of the fact about it. I'm like, yeah, so, and it's bringing me some calm. I don't know how long it's going to last for, but it's at least where I am right now. The only images I have of you are cool ones, Joe Bobo Bizzlebot. So much love. There's that beautiful, loving, hateful voice of my third favorite Bulgarian. He's really insistent on hanging up when he wants to hang up. It's like the Irish goodbye of hang-ups. I would love a welding lesson from your dad. I didn't get my welding lessons from my dad, technically. I learned how to weld when I was working. Welding is not that difficult. It's just practice, right? Like you have to, even if somebody shows you how to weld, the only way for you to get good at welding is to keep welding, right? You have to like get good at putting down lines. Like there's no shortcut. It's no YouTube video you can watch that's going to instantly make you better. You know how to weld, yeah. Like I'm actually kind of capable, I just really like pretending that I'm not. Because that way people underestimate me. Yeah, baker, welder, grinder. I've, dug and laid foundation for buildings. Done that. Know how to operate CNC machines. 3D printers, laser cutters. I can do that too. Again with the baking, I know how to bake cakes. I know how to bake cookies and rusks. I used to work in the AV industry, so I know how to, install projectors. It's not really complicated, but I know how to install projectors and line them up and get the user interfaces, set up. I know how to run CAT duplicators, right? Where you can literally have like CAT cables into these little dongles. Those little dongles offer you I/O for like your HDMI, and then that Ethernet signal gets taken to a relay switch. I know how to code those relay switches so that you can have multiple different inputs and you can press buttons and then your screen can be displayed instead of someone else's. I know how to do a lot of shit. I just know myself. And I reach a point of saturation where I'm like, oh, I don't actually like welding because I keep staring at a bright spot that's called an arc. And even though I'm wearing these freaking goggles, it makes these little dark spots on my field of vision. I don't like that. I don't want to keep doing that, right? I keep having to carry sheets of steel. Like that was like the 3D printer experience for me. Like the amount of sheets of steel that I had to move, right? Where like leaning over the freaking CNC cutter, extending my lower back was messing me up. Like standing on my feet because you cannot sit down welding. You have to kind of be standing, to angle yourself correctly. Being on my feet for 8 hours a day messed me up. Installing all of those cool AV, equipment, it was fun until I ran my 100th cat cable, like forcing it through a conduit and then pulling on it with a wire tied to a bunch of freaking, insulation tape. Like you're like, oh, I know how to do this, and now I hate it. Thank you very much. So this is the first thing where I was like, oh, I know how to do this, and I don't hate it. And it was like surprising to me that something like that existed. And that's why I do this. I don't do this because I'm lazy. I do this because it's actually something that I love. And it's hard for me to find something like that. Welding is for sure my weakest skill. Practice, bro. That's the only way we get good at welding is lots and lots of practice. Because you have to get used to your tools. You have to get used to the literal mechanics of your metals, right? It's like there's a time base, there's a intensity, there's a distance, there's a patience element to it. I know. I don't know how to build anything. I can even do woodwork, by the way, right? I've built boxes, like little home boxes for people who wanted owl nests. I've been doing woodwork as well. That I did when I was 16, So I had like an order for like 20 uh, owl boxes with like overhangs and like little places for them to land. And I had to construct them, the little boxes. I'm not completely inept, even though I can seem that way. It's nice to pretend you don't know anything, Then people are like, oh, I'll just do it for you. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you for doing it for me. Oh, no, skip. Nope. I just stumbled, and dropped my phone in the toilet. Get some rice, bro. I hope it was a flush toilet. Oh, goodness. Jeez. I'm sorry, dude. Sending you blessings, bro. Joy calling what I'm capable of welding is a stretch, but I can ugly stick a couple of pieces of metal together. I build anything. I can't afford. Yeah, you see, that's literally the point I was trying to make as well, Duck. That is like I can build things. Building things is easy. Affording the materials, that's the real challenge. Right? That's where it gets hard. That's wild. Like you can build a house and stuff. No, I don't think I can build a house. I mean, I would be able to build something I'd be okay with living in, but I don't think it's gonna look finished properly, right? It's gonna look like some 20-year-old with no work experience built it, right? But I'll build it, right? I actually have this aspiration to build a house on the copy out of mud, like literally build a mud hut. But it's not going to look like your modern home, like plumbing and electricity. That stuff is a little bit more, it's not that complicated, technically speaking, right? But again, it's a materials thing, and it's having all of the tools, having all of the fittings, having all of the fasteners, and then planning, getting your lines right. Like building stuff is not that hard. You just have to kind of, at the very least, be willing to learn. YouTube has everything that you could ever want to know about building homes as well. Welding is all about surface prep. Also true. That's why you need to, grind your surfaces to make sure they actually have places for the bead to run. Welding is the fun part. Everyone wants to weld, but no one wants to grind and clean parts for hours. Yeah. I had to do both. Oh, I had to do both. I have never baked a cake before. Really? Why not? Just never needed to, wanted to. It's not that hard. You know how to play the kalimba. Also true. Yeah, I can play an instrument. Flat yourself. I can play the kalimba. I mean, play the kalimba is like relatively speaking, Zano. I can make the kalimba sound like it's playing, but if you had to go like play AC/DC Thunderstruck on your kalimba, I'm gonna be like ding 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 ding. I don't think I'd be able to do it, right? I don't even know where to put my fingers to get the right tones, right? So in that way, I don't actually think I can play the instrument. My favorite professional talent of Melt is his ability to show love and patience to extremely abrasive personalities. Melt. Hey Zano, thank you for saying that. I'm taking that one and putting it in my bank of like wholesomes, bro. The ability to show love and patience to extremely abrasive personalities. You know what's the weirdest part? You've come. Thank you, Zano. Thank you. I appreciate your lovin's. I'm just, taking a step back as well. Like I feel like my ego is getting like super like inflated right now. And I'm like, hey how about you put your feet on some grass, feel what it's like. How about you listen to some birds? How about you remind yourself that you're just a person, right? So I'm appreciating the compliment and love. I'm just my reflexive higher self, technically ego as well, is trying to fight my persona. I guess that's what's, they're like I feel like I'm glitching out or something. Melt, you have a lot of skills that would be useful in putting together a festival, even the baking. Yeah. Yeah, now I need to properly learn how to do that stuff as well. I can technically DJ. I know how to use the CDJs, right? I know how to use them, but I still need to get good at using them. And I don't really know how to properly uh like balance audio yet. Yet. That one I'll learn as well. But now I'm learning how to 3D map, right? I already know how to do design, at least in part, my form of design with the flowers that I make. I look forward. I feel like today's stream is you friends reminding me that all of these changes that we've been through as people stay with us, right? Maybe that's like a good thing to think about as well. Is that even though you are changing, the versions of yourself that you've been hasn't disappeared, right? Like you still have all of that depth in you, even though you might not be actively participating within it. My mom taught me to cook, but she didn't bake. My mom believed that you have to be able to cook and bake as a man for yourself because in her words she is not raising children. I don't know how if that translates properly, but it basically means that she's raising people, right? She wants us to be people when we go into the world. She doesn't want us to be children when we go into the world. So I have been cooking my own food, I think, since I was 6. I remember, so I say I think since I was 6 because I very beautifully remember me cooking. And it's not like I was like cooking 5-star meals. I was like cooking eggs kind of vibe, right? Like scrambling eggs. It's not exactly rocket science. But as an 8-year-old, I felt apt enough to, you know, scramble eggs and toast for myself and my brother. And I cooked us, eggs. And I remember him adding ketchup to the eggs that I cooked him. And a part of me feeling offended, being like, so it's been a big part of my experience as well, being able to cook for myself. In case you were wondering, my favorite Bulgarians are one, Dimitar Bartov in Manchester United, two, my old neighbor I called Bulgi, and three, Christian. I'll never repeat those words, bro. I don't know if Christian will like knowing that he's third on anybody's list of anything. Christian only wants to be first. You can't bet I love to you. Thank you, Zano. Bro, if you learn Thunderstruck in the Kalimba, quit all this love and love is true and go on. Bless you, bro. Melts ego. Yeah, I'm melting. I'm trying to melt the ego, bro. But that's the joke about ego. That is kind of the joke, and that is the thing I'm trying to remind myself of as well with the whole melt more thing. Is that even though an ego is necessary to participate in this world, that ego that you are is gonna change. It's gonna melt, right? And then once it melts, once this version of yourself that you think you are disappears, now there's more of this version of yourself that you think you are. And then that disappears. And then there's more of this version of yourself that you think you are, melting more and more and more. That's a part of the process as well. Being willing to who you calling abrasive. Weirdly enough, I thought he was talking about me. Right? Like I can be pretty abrasive and I'm trying to be loving and tolerant of my own abrasive nature as well, right? Because like this is like kind of permanent. So I cringe hard sometimes when I'm like, oh goodness, what am I doing? What am I saying right now? Right? And then I have to come back and like be like, it's okay. Oh, I still love you, even though you're being a little bit of an asshole right now. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I'm the abrasive personality. No, me. No, I'm the abrasive. We're all doing. Thank you, Sam, for being lovins as well. Hitting the road, lurk mode, locked in. Love you, beautiful peoples, Bigly and Muchly. We love you too, Joe. Pretty abrasive. It was a clean toilet, by the way. Good. I'm happy to hear that at the very least. All attention is good attention, Mr. Shell. Love to you. It's nice seeing you here too, Shell. Today we're talking about change. And like the way I'm talking about change is like layered. One layer is that change will happen in the outside world, right? That's one layer of it. Then maybe there's four layers. Second layer is your ability to change, to adapt to the change of the outside world. Then the third layer, maybe there's only three layers, is how your change or your adaptation of the change again changes the world, right? And then it starts this iterative process of us evolving ourselves higher and higher. So all attention is good attention. In that way, I take that as a truth, dear Mr. Shell, echoed through Mrs. Shell, that yeah, you have to pay attention in order to adapt to change properly, right? Like you cannot adapt to change if you're not paying attention. It's like, oh, I'm gonna walk on this nicely, unbushed road, and it has these steel bars that are very low, and I can like step on the planks. Oh, this is such a nice place to walk. Oh, I hear a behind me, but I'm not gonna pay attention to it because I'm walking this road, right? And then you get hit by a train because you weren't paying attention to the change of your environment. So even though it's a bad thing, right? You can get hit by a train. It's not maybe it's the best thing you want to pay attention to. It's still good attention to pay. Cooking is a basic life skill. Everyone should know how to feed themselves. Agreed. Christian is my favorite Bulgarian. There, I said it. There we go. That one I'll remember. I'll be like, Jules said, you're her favorite Bulgarian, right? And then I'll be like, yeah, and you're also one of Doc Dad's favorite Bulgarians. And then I'll see Christian stop and be like, what was that? What was that one of? What do you mean? And I'm like, surprise me. None to hear. That is Mr. Shell's perspective. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know how to interpret that message. Doug, Mr. Shell, and Shell Jr. are constantly practicing that. Did I miss a comment? I'm pretty abrasive. the son and the husband as well. I guess it wouldn't hurt to know how to bake, but I'd hate to possibly put a delicious bakery out of business. So, to give you an idea of why that's impossible, is because of how much it takes to change, right? That could be one way to keep a topic relevant. Another way to share it is my mom bakes, right? And then some of her friends will start begging her for the recipes of the things that she bakes. And then upon giving them the recipe for the thing she bakes, maybe they'll bake it once. And then they'll realize, oh goodness, this is a lot of work. And it leaves my kitchen in a mess. And I have to wash things. And I have to be meticulous and pay attention as to not burn my baked goods, etc., etc., etc. Right? And then they end up just buying baked goods again, right? They like make it themselves once and then never again. So yeah, take a chance. Take a chance on you. You can bake some things. Don't worry now. You won't put a business out. I can tell you. Okay, Miss Rochelle likes to tease pretty hard mouth. Also plays electric guitar. A lot so thunderstruck in the house daily. That sounds kind of cool, to be honest. Maybe it can get a little bit irritating though. Thank you for embracing that change too. I can cook the basics, but I don't cook at home because my companion is a chef. Yeah, if someone is a chef, they're the one cooking, right? I guess to an extent, right? Like maybe if someone is a chef, they like deserve to be cooked for even more than anybody else because of the amount of time they have to spend cooking for other people, right? But I guess if your companion who is a chef really likes cooking and takes pride in it and almost like has a sense of no, I'm the one that cooks because I know how to use these ingredients in a way where it will generate the most delicious possible meal, then it makes sense. Pippi has been trying to eat flies all day. You're trying to eat them flies? Sweetie, sweetie. Melting ABBA was not on my bingo card. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I did what now? Joy Leaf, furiously typing. Don't pretend I have no idea what it is you're talking about right now. Melt, it's video evidence. I can skip back. I'm gonna close my eyes. I can cook the basic love again. From Skyrim, moms can't hear the family screams. Huh? My ex used to do the cooking and most of the cleaning. It was nice. That does sound like a blessing, actually. Having other people cook for you is very delicious. That's like the most delicious food. It's food that somebody else cooks for you. Tastes so nice. Nothing makes me happier than people noodling on their instrument all day practicing music. It's the very best. Melt, you sang ever. I know. I was just joking. I know. I know. Like we were actually talking about the fact that I didn't listen to music that's before my time, but I do go to family events, and I have family members that have existed before my time, so they listen to the music. Me flexing some of my. I know Abbas. Okay. I listen to some Abbas. Oh no! I'm shuffling my cards. We're going to see what sacred geometry has to say today. What do you think? Are you projecting from your mind's eye into the future? What card you would like to see? Which card is going to mean the most to your being? The unexpected sandwich is my favorite thing. So the principle is that a sandwich someone else makes for you will always taste better than one you have made for yourself because the ingredients are unknown to you. The ingredient proportions are unknown to you. Yeah. Not only that, but the ingredients itself might be unknown to you, right? So when you're making your own sandwich, I like this as a thought experiment. When you're making your own sandwich, you're like actively referencing your own tastes, right? Where you're like, I would like more meat, so you add like an extra slice of ham or whatever, right? Oh, I like this amount of cheese, so you add X amount of cheese. So as you're making your sandwich yourself, you're already psychologically prepping yourself for how good you think it's going to taste. And more often than not, it's still going to be a sandwich with those elements. Even if you add 2 slices of ham, it's still going to be like, ham sandwich or whatever, right? So when someone else brings you a sandwich, you don't have all of that expectation of how it ought to taste because of the way you made it for yourself. And you actually get to just experience the sandwich from the other person as it is instead of all of that prior judgment. Orange, either Encore or Taurus. You think that's going to be the shapes? Let's see. This one. Encore? Isn't the Encore like the Egyptian symbol? Right? That like cross with a little loopy loopy. Hey Google, show me an Encore. I'm cringing. It's showing me Encore, like E-N, core. Name. Encore. Skippa. Yeah, know what? This is an anchor. I am loving patience and calm. Thanks. And Ankh. Yeah. I think I know what I'm talking about. My sandwiches suck. Bread, sauce, meat, and I mean, I've made myself a plenty sandwich of all that. I was thinking, anchor what? I'm so confused. I have absolutely no idea. This is the card we pulled. Card number 52 combines into a 7. We haven't pulled this card in a while. Elemental Embrace. Elemental Embrace. And fires. This is technically the scene you're looking at. It might be a little bit too complicated to really see it, but it's a mountain or an island erupting as lava. And that lava flows into the ocean and then creates bellows of steam and fires raging. And then those bellows of steam and fires raging is illuminated by moonlight, where the steam basically takes up embodied individuals, lovers embracing one another. They're like, what? Yeah. Now again, the mountain flowing in lava, flowing into the ocean, creating bellows of steam and fire. And there are the individuals. There's the hand over a person's back, arms interlocked. And then the moon illuminating the whole image, and then the 7 stars. Cool card, huh? It's a beautiful one. Let's see what it means. And the fire is very orange, right? And orange is like the complementary color to purple as well. So I still think you got it. The rest of it is gray, right? The only color is like, there's some purples, but it's like very grayed out purple. The primary color is orange, peeking out of the fractal. No. I want to read the book, Other People's Sandwiches. I think it will be probably, embracing of this idea that I just shared. We just shared, technically. I wonder if they will come to the same conclusion that I have. Elemental forces and synthesis. That's 7 star. You ready? Oh, wow. I think I pulled it upside down. I might have, but the upside down meaning goes, circumstances may have led to feelings of separation. Reconnect with friends. Literally, as my friends are driving on the road to get here. Elemental forces and synthesis. This card speaks of connecting with elemental forces. Molten lava flows into the ocean under a full moon where two pairs of lovers inhibiting the steam plumes are revealed. They embody the passionate embrace of fire, creating earth and transmuting water into air. There is an there is an atmosphere of raw, creative energy emerging from the planet's womb. You know how it feels, though you may never have experienced it. Coming from a primal place in our cellular memory, this feeling holds the power of the elements and speaks directly to the relationships all humans have with these elements and with Mother Earth. Okay, this is again me wanting to find patterns, but still, we were talking about embracing change today. And this is literally talking about embracing elemental forces, right? Which means fire, which means massive storms, which means earthquakes, which means tornadoes, which means, lightning striking. That is elemental forces, right? And that is like extreme levels of change, right? Like change that transcends humanity, right? Like if a tsunami, that's an elemental force, suddenly, charges your city. You do not have the ability to adapt, unfortunately, right? Embedded within this card are two seven-sided stars. Seven is an integrating number, and here represents the synthesis of body, mind, and spirit with elemental forces. Seven indicates stages of transformation and is a self-contained chronicle for for quickening creativity. How can you more fully appreciate your connection with elemental forces? Even the sun, even the earth underneath you right now, even the stillness of the air is still an elemental force, right? You may decide to put your hands in the earth and grow a garden, maybe some wild blueberries even. Water it and see how sunlight and air combine to feed you and enhance growth and beauty in your life. You may sit by a fire with your feet on the ground, watching sparks fly into the air on a dark summer's eve. Perhaps you will learn to enhance your living space through a discipline such as feng shui. In any way you choose, find an understanding of the relationships among elemental forces so that you may live in harmony within your environment and merge your everyday life with the magic and mystery of the cosmos. Yeah. Extreme change, and you as a part of it. How the heck is everybody? Even better with you here, Shell. I'm feeling a little bit hot. Unfortunately, it is uncomfortably warm in South Africa right now. I'm proud of myself for not having said something up until this moment, but it's like very on the forefront of your mind, right? It's like being this hot makes you not feel anything else. It's like I'm just surviving the heat right now. Dragon ass today, Shell. Can imagine. Love is true. Did you see the eggs and the nest? It's not pretty, but it's cool in our pets. You're talking about the burbs that are interrupting the construction, right? Oh, I see it now. Is that an excavator? Burp using an excavator as a nesting area. You're born into this world and you're like, the fuck? Am I living in alien technology right now? And Mama Bird goes like, yeah, oh, there are these things called humans, bro. They're way too smart for their own good, dude. They build these machines that can literally move tons of material. It was wild though, and we live in one. And they cannot continue work because of you dudes, right? Some of them are kind of cool. It's kind of wholesome. Thank you for sharing with us, Shell. And our pets, what kind of bird eggs are those? Them rare ones. Them rare bird eggs. Mm. Okay. Kalimba time. You ready for some karimbering? How do you look so chill, Melt? I'd be pouring sweat and miserable. I wilt like a flower in the heat. I've gotten used to it. Yesterday was super rough because I wasn't really ready for it. But I get used to things real quickly, right? We were talking about adapting. It's about, what's the temperature right now? Yeah, again, 95, 100 Fahrenheit. That's like to be expected, unfortunately, during these days. We don't know yet. Speculating. It is from a Salton Sea area, so maybe magnificent frigate. Migrate? Bird, maybe. That's us. That's the interior of an cellular antenna shroud. Ah, okay. Why did I think construction equipment? I think it's because of the pipes, right? Like when I see pipes like this, I imagine hydraulics, right? Hydraulics being pumped to use massive hydraulic cylinders to move massive metal buckets, right? But they're probably then wires instead of tubes. Now that I'm paying closer attention, I can actually see that they are electricity based, not hydraulic based. My bad. It still took me down a cool fractal. I'm happy that I made a mistake, so I can adapt to change. Yeah. Let's get this freaking microphone on this kalimba. Play a little bit of music. So yeah, again, you get used to it, dear Joydeep. Like it's the same thing with you friends, surviving the cold. Like I saw a video today, and it's obviously a video made for clicks, but it was like how Norwegians wash their clothes, and I'm watching a lady literally use a freaking saw to cut a hole in ice, and then there's like dirty water in that ice hole, and then she like washes clothing in that ice water, and you can literally see her hands turn like pink with the amount of cold she's being exposed to. And then she like pulls out all of the clothing, and then she literally freaking missions through snow that's like torso deep, and then like she gets to the hanging, where you hang your clothing, and she hangs the clothing, and it's like, like the clothing line is like this far away from the freaking snow underneath it, and I'm like, oh hell no, hell no, nah. I will not live there. Like you will not catch me dead living in an area where I have to trudge through chest high snow. Like that's just not gonna happen. Yes, your eyes are good, Melt. It's definitely construction. That's the bus bar, poorly attached, needs tightening. After those birds decide to find a new life. No rush though. Love is true. Thank you for connecting with us in that way, Shell, for loving those little animals. Let's play some kalimba. It is 74% on my battery. It's gonna be 47 minutes past in like seconds. So 17, 47, 74 percentage. Let's play some kalimba. Let me give you a scene. Is that it? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. I was watching a little finch absolutely sing his little heart out. And he would fly to the next branch. And it looked like he was like looking at me a little bit as well while I was playing the kalimba. I was wondering if he was hearing it and having an experience. I think this is the first time I've seen the back of Melt's head. Instantly having a back of the head is now a new insecurity. Thank you, JV. I hope y'all ate no stress yesterday and just enjoyed the day. So much bless. Hope so too. It's nice having all of you friends here. Thank you for joining me, for looking at the back of my head and staying, for listening to some kalimba, for consciously evolving, for changing, and for being able to do so beautifully. Our Shan message is almost ready. Done. Did I disconnect for a second? I was just saying I'll wait a few seconds before I start reading our Shan message. Okay, I think now it's ready. Once the second one comes through, it's usually okay for me to start. So I'll say, have the mostest beautifulest day, everyone. I sincerely, wholeheartedly love you all so, so very, very superestly, dearestly, intensely, immensely, mega massively, giga gigantically, galactically, giga grande galactically, astronomically dearly, beloved, tastefully tenacious, tractable, melt more. And all of you, oh so very, very amazingly, astoundingly, heavenly, handsomely, harmoniously, jocularly, jocularly, joyously, jubilantly, satisfyingly, sapiently, salubraciously, gorgeously, sheeningly, shimmeringly, magically, magical, purely precious, divine friends that undoubtedly have the ability to lovingly adapt to change. As we love you, dear Shan. Thank you. So many new words that I haven't used before. Bless you. Thank you for blessing all of us. Love is true. Toasty Malosty. Now we can't end the stream until you tell us. So, what's it like being a dad, bro? You dadding right now? Look at this new dado. Are you being dads? Yeah. I have to know something. Give me something, Toast. Be like, be like, be like, be like, be like. Which one is it though? All of the above. All of our friends are instantly stoked to see you as well. I'll stay. Suddenly, perfect posture melt. Needs to move the camera up, otherwise I'm not in frame. I need to be a good example. There's a dad in chat. Jocularity. Jocularity. You know that word? Jocularly, right? Hey Google, define jocularly. It's probably jocularly. Jocular. In a happy way and liking to make jokes. Jocular. Yeah, I like that actually. I'm sorry. Poor posture for a second there. Jocularity. To make jokes. To be very funny, right? The joke of wanting to perfect posture. There's nothing wrong with me. Freaking bugs! There's so many flies. Now that it's hot again, and I keep forgetting that they exist until they're a nuisance. Oh goodness! How about that? One of the bugs that was on me was a stink bug. Yeah, great. Christina's gonna tell me I stink when he gets here. Freaking stink bugs making me stink. So disgusting. Best wishes to the mom, Toast. So much love. You gonna let us know, Toast? Did everything go well? Is everybody healthy? Are you okay? Like, these are the things that we want to know, bro. You're our homie. And we haven't heard from you since the day. It's been 2 days later right now, right? I don't even know if Toast is here. Maybe he's just love is truing us. I'm adapting to change. I'm adapting to change right now. That's what's happening. I'm rapidly adapting to change. Stink bugs, oh, yeah, see. Like you were walking on my body, oh, and then I just brushed you away. There's flies. Of course, there's flies. You are a poor child in Africa. Of course, there's flies, right? Just have to have like the flies walking on my lips and in my eyes and stuff, you know, so I can get like the sympathy points. I shouldn't joke about stuff like that, but that's what some photographers do, right? That it doesn't actually look like that. My mom would tell us to eat our food because there's starving children in Africa. Well, thank you for eating your food. Now I'm well fed. Like I don't know if Toasty is here anymore. I think Toasty might have left, and we're just like waiting for him to say something for nothing. We're all getting scammed right now, and I got stink bugged. All right, maybe that's the point of what we're watching right now. Watch Melt trip out about the fact that he smells like stink bug for 5 minutes. Watch him wash his hands for the 5th time with his cup of water that was meant for drinking. And it doesn't stink that bad, right? It just smells like. Okay, that's better. Like what happened was there's a bug here, and I was like, eh. And then me rolling him, he didn't like that apparently. Yeah, I think Toast is gone. Well, so it be. Love is true. Maybe that's all we needed to know. Maybe that is the point. Maybe that's the change we have to adapt to. It was nice having you friends here with me. Thank you for taking the time, waiting for a response as well. I'm sending all of you friends my blessings. He can tell us tomorrow, and you got soap. Yeah. Again, it doesn't stink that bad. It just smells like chemicals, you know? Like it is technically a chemical spray from those bugs. Okay, love is true. I thank you for joining me once again, for consciously evolving alongside me. Again, you are the change. The world will change. You can change, the world's change, and then upon changing to the world's change, the world will change to your change. So choose. Choose the change you want to see in this world, and then show up for it. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow, I'll probably have homies. 2 extra heads that next to me, which is gonna be fun. Doesn't the smell of squash stink bug call the other stink bugs to swarm it? I fucking hope not. Melt, you should share. Had fun with your friends, Melty. Thank you. Sending you all some lovins. I appreciate you. I'll see you again real soon. Tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Until we do this again.